Hello, Internet. It's a date and a time. It's Monday, the 15th of December.
It is.
And it's a podcast.
It is, but we're
called the Saladcast.
We're done.
And I'm the only one here apart from Rob.
Hello.
That makes two of us.
I'm also the only one here apart from Zach.
Yeah.
Logic must ensue.
Dan is not here.
Dan is not
here.
here.
Not that he's usually here physically.
Well, no, he's normally in London.
Yes, he's normally far away.
That happy town. That town devoid of hobos and disaster.
One of those is not true.
I couldn't tell you which. So yes, he is apparently entertaining guests with mince pies. That is a detail he gave me. There are not more details.
Well, you didn't specify what he was doing with the mince pies.
No.
Juggling them.
No, he just said there were mince pies involved.
Oh, not necessarily the mince pies were the main entertainment.
Depends what kind of mince pie they are, I suppose.
Are some kinds of mince pies particularly entertaining?
Well, they can vary, aren't they? Because I don't consider those the classic Sainsbury's style mince pie with the star on top. It's not very entertaining.
Okay.
Because that's just.
So then, what is an entertaining kind?
That's like the bog standard mince pie. That's even worse than homebrew mince pies are. A little bit.
Are they more entertaining?
Yeah, they're a little bit more entertaining because there's a danger factor. You don't know quite what you're getting into when you sink your teeth into it. Has someone misunderstood what mince is?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope not. Does anyone misunderstand what mince means in that content?
Well, apart from everyone who doesn't actually know what mince pies are.
Is it a very English thing? Like, would you go to America and be all like, have a mince pie? And they'll be like, dude, what beef?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what countries it's associated with.
You're like having a mincemeat pie? That sounds pretty good. Gravy, right?
Yeah, but the thing is that even the stuff inside mince pies is called mincemeat, even though there's no fucking meat in it.
I don't even know. I did know this at one point, like why it was called mincemeat, and maybe at some point it was mincemeat, or it was like some sort of fruity meat.
It's probably some stupid medieval word that just is like mincemeat, but actually means something completely different.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but and then you got the McDonald's Christmas pie, which is basically like a mince pie, isn't it? But they put like custard in it or something.
Okay.
Or was that Christmas pudding in a apple pie burning hot wrap?
Right.
It's like that's lower than Sainsbury's pies because that's not entertaining. That's just a form of torture.
That's also not technically a mince pie, really.
Isn't it?
Not if it's not just mince.
No, it has. I believe it had some additional filling. Like
it's a Christmas themed pie.
Yeah, it's Christmas in a pie.
Yeah,
that's what it is. I went to a Christmas thing once. It was like
once.
Well, it was kind of like here, try out bits of our new menu or something,
right?
Like thing, and it's like, all right, we'll go with that. Let's see what they're doing for their Christmas canapes. And they had some interesting ideas. Like one of them was basically a Christmas dinner in a canapé, so it had a tiny bit of canapé
in a carapace
in a carapace in a fetid carapace. You'd have a bit of turkey,
okay,
and a bit of cranberry sauce, and there'd be a tiny splodge of potato and stuff in there, and it would be like this is Christmas dinner in a single bite, and you'd be like, hom, and it's like, oh, actually, you're not far from it, right? But then a bit of me really hopes I'm misremembering this, but I just remember it way too clearly, and that there was one of these canapé things that was basically a sausage in custard. And it was actually all right.
I think sausages and custard are a thing that people have been known to eat together.
Well, the only time I've ever heard of that before this was back on... Do you remember Sky's...
No, because I never had Sky, so that's...
Oh, no, you might have known about this because you knew me.
Okay.
And it's like Sky's well-known gaming series that ran weekday nights at 6 called Games World.
I don't know if I knew specific programs about that.
Well, there was one part of it that used to air on a Tuesday, I believe, called Big Boy Barry. He was one of the games masters or something, and that they spun off into his own little sort of dumb comedy show or something. And of course, I think that was his favourite meal or something. It was like sausages and custard or something.
Okay.
There was a storyline involving sausages and custard. Like up till the point of someone serving me a sausage just sticking out of a bit of custard in a pastry tart. So that was the first time I'd ever heard of it. And the last. So good job, sausage tartlets. That's the name of the people that made it. The sausage
Are you
tartlets.
sure it was custard?
I have no idea what the fuck it was.
So you inferred it was a sausage and custard. You didn't actually.
It tasted a bit like custard.
Okay.
But I guess it could have been some ultra pureed potato with something else in it, maybe.
Or just some kind of sauce.
Some kind of sauce. What sauce would go like hard and white, like a cheese sauce or
Yeah, I guess.
sausage and cheese? That could work.
Custard isn't hard and white.
Well, it wasn't the start. It was like
So that maybe infers even more that it might not have been custard.
could be the sort of custard you get inside, like
Or like a custard cream.
yeah,
Or a custard tart.
yeah, that
Where
sort of
it's
thing.
not really custard at all.
No, it's more, well, maybe that's it. Maybe it's sausages and cream. I don't know. That makes it sound even weirder.
Mm.
At least it wasn't ice cream.
Would have known.
Well, yeah. But would that have been? But it would have been super sweet then. Like
Depends what sort of ice cream.
that sweet sausage sticking out. It looked weird. Come on, it was like a little tart with a pool and a sausage sticking out of it.
Was it like really like they totally failed to cook the Yorkshire puddings efficiently, so it's just like Yorkshire pudding that.
That might have made it better. Although Yorkshire pudding filled with custard, like just like
why are we putting custard in it?
I don't know. I'm just thinking like it's another thing that's sort of like bowl shaped, isn't it? Like a big Yorkshire pudding.
Oh man, you remember the terrible ready meals that we used to get from Asda, where it was like
I never forget, man. Never forget.
the giant Yorkshire pudding that you could pour the sausage and gravy into because it was actually solid enough to act as a bowl, and then you eat it afterwards.
It's a bit like a do-it-yourself Cinnabon,
Yeah,
but with
with sausage and gravy.
and a terrible Yorkshire pudding.
Ugh.
Yeah, all that. Why did we do that?
Because we were lazy.
Were
Well, we were lazy together. You have another person to worry about at this point, so you can't be quite so lazy.
no, she feeds me.
I can still be lazy as I want, but only when I'm doing it for myself.
We have a routine at the moment. It's like I do the washing up while no cooks. You see, so that's how the cycle continues.
That's how you escape the cooking requirements.
And in theory, that's how relationships should work, right? You have to do half the work.
It's still not even though.
Well, on which side? What, you reckon the washing's worse or the cooking's worse? Or
Depends on who's. If only one person's only doing one of the things and is doing the whole of that one thing, then that's inherently uneven.
depends, like what your menu is, right? Because if you're doing
Your menu of tasks.
yeah, if you do of cooking for the week, if you do like a really long meal that takes fucking ages to cook, right? And you've only got like one glass to cook,
To cook.
to clean. And then it's like, well, yeah, sure, that's uneven. But then the following night, you've got all the shit from the big meal that was made in order to clean, and it.
Oh yeah, well, I think on average, cooking probably takes more effort than washing up.
Well, if you don't have a dishwasher, does it? Trying to pass that sentence.
Yeah, I was going to not say anything about that one. I was just going to leave that. That wasn't the correct sentence at all.
It was more of a question. It's like, if you don't have a dishwasher, does it? Except it kind of ran together a bit too fast.
Well, if you had a dishwasher, you wouldn't be doing any of the washing up, and therefore it'd be incredibly uneven.
Well, no, but some of it, you can't not do somewhat like things with Teflon on it. Apparently, you can't dishwash because it like spreads and gets on everything else, and then you could have food on Teflon, which you're not supposed to eat from.
So just buy some different materials.
But then isn't like all decent non-stick pans made with a Teflon coating? Or
Not always.
Teflon. No wait, that's the advert that's the old Revlon sound. The old I don't know why I remember that. It's just like it was like the old Revlon ads. Like, is Revlon still a thing?
Probably.
I don't know, but they used to go Revlon at the end of it with a weird sort of filter effect. Get your makeup from a pan manufacturer. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Teflo. Get the Morphy Richards look. I don't know if Morphy Richards make pans. They make kettles.
That's true.
And irons.
We make fail kettles.
Fail kettles. Why kettles are Morphy Richards? Actually, I don't know. Is it a Morphy Richards?
Probably.
You probably used it all night.
I don't know about that. I think the last kettle we had at home was under Morphy Richards, which was basically exactly the same as the one we had now, which made me doubly disappointed when we got the new one.
It's just like, what are you doing? You knew this one was bad.
Yeah, it's like, it's got the exact same fucking problems as the last one. Why? And now it's developed an even more annoying problem that's not just bad design, like I was discussing with your kettle, where now the metal filter plate thing in the front that stops all the scale getting into your tea, that just keeps falling out all the time.
Oh, so then the scale, you just get a lump of scale and just follow it.
Yeah. Well, not following it even. It's like, well, typically when I tip it upside down to empty all the water out before I put new water in, sometimes then it pops out, but that's easy enough to deal with.
Sure.
But sometimes when you like put it down to maybe start boiling it or whatever, then it pops out and falls into the water.
Oh.
And then you're like, and the hole in the top of the kettle is barely big enough to like fit your hand in, so you're trying to fish the damn thing out before you've boiled the water to shove it in there, and then when you boil it, and then if it falls out after you boil it, you're fucked.
Yeah. Because you don't want to waste that water.
Well, because it's fucking boiling hot.
Is that? Yeah, you need an appropriate spoon or something with which to just
you need
it out.
like tongs or something to actually get in there.
What about a noodle tea?
Yeah,
Does that work?
Maybe.
Just stick a noodle tea in it.
Although even before the filter was literally falling out, scale still got through it quite often, and I was like, "How is that happening?" Maybe it was actually loose before it noticeably fell out. Like it was just opening up a crack or something.
So is this your new one is now doubly fucked, or is this?
Yeah, this is the new one. The old one had a different kind of filter that jammed in there a bit better. This one's just a bit loose, apparently.
Do you reckon that's intentional for some reason, or like?
Well, they need to be detachable so you can take them out and clean them because the scale clogs it up over time, like the little bits of scale that get caught in the mesh.
Yeah. Do you reckon it's a really, really bad design flaw where when it's cold, it's fine.
Smaller.
Yeah, so then something expands, like the thing in which the filter sits expands when it gets hot.
That would be bad.
It falls out. Yeah, that would be a prime example of not thinking it through.
Did your kettle even have a filter?
Yeah, I think it does.
Where is it in there? Because it must be fucking impossible to get out if it's in down where the spout, because of your like old-fashioned design of your kettle.
We've never got it out.
No, you've barely ever removed the scale with like when you slosh the water around and you hear the scale sloshing around because there's so much of it.
It's fine, the filter stops it.
Apparently.
don't need to worry about it. It's doing its job. Stops the crap coming out. It can stay in there.
Stops the crap coming out.
Kills it. What have you been up to, man? Anything interesting? Anything non-kettle related?
Tales from the kitchen,
Tales from the kitchen, yeah.
I don't remember anything particularly Tales from the kitchen.
No toaster disasters?
We don't really have toaster disasters.
George Foreman didn't get off with the microwave? I don't know. It's a very big drama.
You know, I did accidentally fuck up a pizza one time.
What?
No,
you shouldn't be telling me this.
Wait, was that a pizza?
How did you... What?
No, it was chicken, you're okay. It was actually chicken, not a pizza.
That was alright.
Chicken
had it coming.
So, our oven is one of those, like, multi-ovens, so it does, like, actual oven as well as microwave or whatever.
Oh, okay, like a combi.
Yeah. So I'd set it up to preheat, because I was going to cook some chicken in it. And unlike you, I actually preheat stuff before I put it in. Maybe because the oven can do it, you just set it to preheat, then it beeps when it's ready.
Yeah.
You have to time it or wait for a light to turn off or whatever, like your oven. So I preheated it up. I shoved the chicken in there, and it's like where you cook it for some period of time, and then you turn it over or take it out or shift it around or whatever the fuck you actually have to do. So I put it in there, and then when it beeped for me to come do whatever with it, I went and opened it up. Did whatever I had to do to this bit of chicken. Put it back in.
That sounds honest.
Close the door. It's like press the button to start the time. But then I realised that I'd accidentally like put them in there wrong or whatever. Like the shelf wasn't sitting correctly.
Right.
So I opened it up again, fucked around with it, put it back in, close the door, push the button again. But the trouble is, if you open it and close it when it's not waiting for you to do it, it basically resets.
No, it cancelled out.
Yeah, so when I closed it again and hit start, it just turned it onto the microwave.
Oh, no.
And it really fucked that chicken up real good.
What happens if you just microwave chicken then? Like,
Well, if you microwave it for as long as it was meant to be ovened, it gets very horrible and smoky.
Does it just go like real squidgy and like?
No, it's not. It just like gets burnt.
No.
It just goes brown. It's like bacon, how that gets
Okay.
crispy if you microwave
So
it.
it's sort of burnt on the inside.
Yeah, we just burnt it all over.
Oh,
Because it'd been there for a real long time before anyone noticed. It was like, oh, well, shit.
food to the chicken.
Yep. Then I ate something else. I don't remember what else I ate.
Was that the pizza?
Could have been.
Good choice.
Like, fuck this chicken, have pizza instead.
Yeah, always. It's the backup food of kings. It's the primary food of kings. It's just food.
It's just food.
It's just food. Of kings.
Of kings.
So I went to Manchester.
Yeah.
It's Manchester.
Okay.
It's a long bloody drive.
I noticed. That's why we're doing a podcast on a Monday.
Yeah.
What happened on the return trip? Was it just like unusually long or was it just long?
Well, no, it's the fact that I was quite hungover and then still have been a little bit today.
Okay.
And then by the time we got in, it's just like, man, I don't really want to be doing anything right now. Let's watch the X Factor result shows back to back. Let's see Saturday and then Sunday in one go. Yeah, so that was dumb as well.
I was kind of hoping we weren't going to discuss it.
Well,
That's why I talked about it before the podcast, because I don't really want to talk about it on the podcast.
no, it's not really something I guess we have to cover. It is dumb.
Yeah, it was dumb.
It's dumb.
Apparently.
How did that guy win?
Yeah.
Spoilers.
That was no spoilers. Well, actually, I guess you said guy.
Well, there were two guys in the final. So,
Yes, but no, that's like 1/3 of a spoiler.
yeah, but even so, yeah, that's spoiler enough. Because she should have totally won.
Yeah.
You're all wrong. England, you are wrong.
At least 50% of you, anyway. I think that was how much vote he got.
Yeah. What, out of 2? 50%?
No, out of 3.
Oh, okay.
It was like 50, 30, 20.
Oh, okay. But then I wonder what the second vote was then.
You mean?
Because they did the 3, then they knocked it down to 2. And then on Sunday they did just the 2.
No. Yeah. I don't think it said that.
Perhaps they don't know yet. The numbers were not releasable.
Maybe.
Not accurate enough. Not verified by Visa. I hate that phrase. I don't know why. It's not about verified by Visa. Just
What? Why is that bad?
because I would kind of hope that just the fact of me using a Visa card is enough. Like, I don't have to be reminded that I'm using a Visa card, therefore it has to be verified by Visa, as if that's some kind of assurance. It's like, no, I expect it to be verified by Visa because it's a Visa card.
But it wasn't at some point in the past, and now it is.
What? That's even more scary.
Not really, because in the past no one was paying attention, so there wasn't as much risk.
Yeah. I guess.
I don't understand that verified by Visa thing anyway, because nowadays on my card it doesn't actually seem to do it.
Yeah, it depends what site you're on. But
Like a lot of the time it pops up the box and it's like, here's the verified by Visa box, and then that box is just like loading and then it just goes away.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother with the enter the whatever letter of your thing or whatever, and I'm just like, that's strange. Surely the whole point of that is it's meant to verify it like maybe every time.
It depends. I actually know a bit about how that process works, working in that field. So
Yeah.
it's like that. I can see that could happen. I'm not saying it's right, but I can see why that would happen. It basically means the initial payment provider was told by their own systems, it's like, hey, you need to redirect to this verification service, and then you do so, and then the verification service says, "No, you're good."
Okay.
I can see that happening because they're two different things. They're not, they're run by two different companies, and they might go out of sync, I suppose, in what they know about shit. So, yeah. Yeah.
Okay then.
This is a podcast about video games.
No, it's a podcast about news, which is mostly about video games.
News about video games.
Sometimes. I wouldn't say it's exactly about video games.
Really? What are we about then? Give us the Saladcast.
Well, not what our podcast is about. What's the news section about?
This is what. Okay.
The news section is mostly about video games, but sometimes it's things vaguely related to video games.
What, you mean like Star Wars?
Yeah, exactly. That wasn't really in news, though. I guess that was in news, wasn't it, last time?
No. Or the Jurassic World trailer.
Yes, exactly.
It's Jurassic Park with dinosaurs they made.
We already talked about that.
I know. They made dinosaurs.
That's the whole point of the film.
They made a new dinosaur.
So,
and a raptor army.
What's been happening in news? Well, the two bits of news that I can remember are about Steam. Firstly,
tell me about Steam.
Firstly, they made Steam broadcasting in beta.
Yeah, that happened.
Which is basically like Twitch, only built into Steam.
Have you actually tried it? Have you tried broadcasting or at least watching?
Well, I broadcast to Kippers, and he said it was just like Twitch, and then I tried watching some streams, but I couldn't really get it. I think my internet was being a bit shitty, so like it wasn't connecting very well, but I did see a couple of... It's just a window with like the screen and then a chat.
Okay.
And that's it. It's fine. But like, you know, with my shitty internet, is like the minimum possible setting on Steam is as fast as my internet can possibly go. So it's like I'm just barely in range to even do it.
Yeah. Is it like, so do programs just accept it? Do you have to do any complex setup to get things to stream to?
You don't have to do anything. It's based on the overlay, so it's all automatic, which is doubly weird.
Oh, I see. So you just do it from Steam. You don't need a capture program.
No.
Oh, interesting.
Which is doubly weird because you can add any program to the overlay and it will still record it. Like I ran Guild Wars through Steam and Kippers watched me play it.
Oh, wow.
Because it was just running through the overlay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which, of course, immediately meant everyone was fucking around watching porn and stuff because you could just, like, add a video player exe to Steam with the overlay and just stream whatever the fuck you want for it.
I didn't think of that. It's like the Playroom all over again.
Yep.
That's quite funny.
It was quite dumb. I'm surprised they didn't immediately turn that off. Because there's no... I mean,
is it still all there, then?
As far... Well...
Is it like presumably they're watching it more now and like is it bannable or something? Well, it's like hey, you're streaming VLC. That's probably bad.
Well, because at the time when I first did it, I'd heard some people saying that they were probably going to turn off the non-Steam program streaming.
Yeah,
but then they apparently hadn't by the time I tested it, so I haven't checked in since then.
Man. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is a bit.
It's kind of awesome in its own weird way, though.
It's like when I was talking to Kippers about how like the overlay can stream anything, there's a setting in there in the streaming where you can have it stream your desktop when you're not running a game or like some. I'm not sure what it means by that exactly because presumably the overlay still has to exist in order for it to stream at all because it's clearly running through that system.
Or did they put that in there for games that they can't necessarily run the overlay on? So it just
or so you can like use your desktop to do other things related to your game stream, like show images or text or whatever. I don't know. But so then, Kippers was just like, well, if they're allowing you to stream the desktop, then they can't really stop you from streaming whatever the fuck you want because you can just put it there.
Yeah, they would have to. They would just have to be more policing about it, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
isn't necessarily
seems like a lot of effort.
Yeah,
that they may or may not do once it comes out of beta. We'll see.
I guess that's the advantage of doing anything in beta for a long time, because then you can just feel like, well, this is what happens.
You can discover how fucked it all is.
Yeah.
Which leads nicely on to the second story about Steam, about something that they, I guess, didn't do in beta and immediately got fucked by.
Is this the auction by any chance?
Yeah. Spectacular failure.
So I haven't quite figured out what this is. Like, is it really as weird as it sounds? To try and explain it to me
well, they're making an auction to just like get games and stuff, products off Steam, and that's fine, I guess. I mean, I did think it was a bit weird where they had like a little bit of text at the bottom of the auction list where it's like, many thanks to all the developers who gave their games to the Steam auction or whatever. And it's a list of like 300 different games and actually might be more than that, might be 3,000, I might be out by a factor of 10 or something. There's like pages and pages and there's all kinds of shit. Like, there's not just games, there's like bits of DLC, like there's DLC for like one of those foreign language learning programs and stuff in there. It's not just like games and stuff. It's like literally everything. And I'm like, I'm not really convinced that every developer there gave permission for this to happen.
No, maybe not. They just, perhaps Valve just said, look, we're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and maybe it was the un-opt-out process. You need to tell us if you don't want this in, and maybe we'll get it into the system that you don't want to do it in time.
Yeah. So, it's basically a giant list of games and stuff, and then you bid on them with gems, and the gems are made by recycling shit out of your inventory.
What if all I have in my inventory is cards?
Those have some value of gems.
I saw stuff that was being bid on like in the millions of gems. Like, what's the conversion rate?
Well, this was the problem. So what happened was, so it comes online, and I saw it kind of immediately by accident. I just coincidentally happened to look at Steam when it updated or whatever. And so I went and looked at like my inventory and stuff. So what they're basically, obviously what their original intention for this system was that it's a way to get rid of a whole bunch of like emotes and backgrounds that people never use.
Right, okay, yeah.
Because it's just like, here's a bunch of shit in your inventory you're never going to use, and you can't really sell it because no one else actually wants them either.
Yeah.
So so now you can convert them into gems and then use it into this bidding system or whatever. So it seemed like a good idea. Probably when they first originally conceived it, they were like, that seems like a good logical way to clean up our inventory system a bit and get rid of some crap that no one ever looks at.
Right.
So they put it up, and then so people started converting shit, and it's like, so emotes are like 100 gems, and then backgrounds are like probably 100 as well.
Doesn't seem like a lot.
No. And then cards are like 1 to 30 gems, depending on some mysterious...
Some rarity.
It doesn't seem actually related to how rare the cards are, like market-wise, or like how many people play the game or something. It's just like, I don't really know what determines how much an actual card is worth in gems.
Okay, finger in the air scale.
Yeah, but they have like some value. So you can convert like a bunch of shit into gems, and if you want to sell them on the market, you have to package them up into 1,000s. Right. So you have to have 1,000 to actually be able to do it. And simultaneously, not really related to the auction, apparently, because it seems like this is going to persist after the auction, because the gems are going to persist.
Okay, that was one of the questions I was going to ask. It's like, what the fuck happens if you get rid of all this stuff and then the auction ends and it's like, what happens to the gems?
Well, apparently what's going to happen is the gems are going to persist, and then they also introduced a thing where you can use the gems to create card booster packs for games that you're already eligible for booster packs for.
I see. You could trade your gems back for just
for more cards. Yeah,
right. That makes a bit more sense.
So that's how they're going to have this. That's like, if they just introduced that system by itself, that probably would have been fine.
Yeah,
it would have been a logical way to get rid of crap no one cares about in their inventory.
Because it becomes a bit like a crafting system, doesn't it? Like from TF, like you just get rid of the
you turn your weapons into scrap and then turn the scrap into something you want theoretically. Only I guess in the card case, you can actually target it a bit better than you can with hats.
I guess, yeah.
So there's that. But then you're making the gems, and then you're bidding the gems on the auction, and it's like, so immediately when it came up, I was looking at the values, and I was like, well, this doesn't fucking make any sense, because it's like, I had emotes in my inventory that were like 100 gems, and they were going on the market for about 6p or whatever.
Right.
And, well, theoretically, the lowest value you can actually sell anything on the Steam market for is 3p.
Okay.
Just because of taxes or whatever and how much cut Valve has to take. It's like...
Oh, because that's what gives you 1.
Yeah, gives you 1p. So, I was looking at the value, and then you look at a bag of 1,000 gems on the market, and they were going for like 23p. And I was like, that doesn't add up. If you're taking 10 emotes, and you assume the emotes even cost less than they do, if 10 emotes cost 3p, that's still 30p's worth of emotes.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that doesn't make much sense, but I guess it's sort of acceptable, because it's like, you can't sell fucking emotes. Mm. So if you're going to get less cash, like, if if you're theoretically going to get less value, but it's at least something that people want, that's maybe okay. That's like, as a supply and demand thing, that kind of makes sense. So that's what it looked like initially. But then, like, when I checked in a few hours later, the price of the gem bags had crashed all the way down to 3p. I was like, well, now something's clearly actually wrong. Because that's the lowest price they can possibly be. So what had actually happened was, naturally, someone had found a duplication exploit and just made a million gems.
No. Because I did see the notice that they took the whole thing down at one point and restarted it all.
Yes, they just destroyed the entire thing. So it was like, well, fuck, we better stop that. So, yeah, they basically fucked around with it and tried and fixed whatever exploit and then brought it back up and then refunded all the trades. And it was a big old hassle.
Yeah.
It's like they reversed most gem trades, but if you traded an item for gems, they couldn't reverse that, so they just gave away free copies of Counter-Strike Go.
Oh, really?
Which is weird, but...
I suppose they had to make good somehow.
Yeah.
But at least if that ended up in your inventory, that's something else you could probably trade for more gems.
I don't think you can trade actual games. Unless between people, I'm sure you could. Like, you could arrange a trade.
Yeah. Well,
you can just sell
giftable
it.
If they're in your inventory, aren't they?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And then, like, the gem bags eventually came back onto the market, and now they're going for, like, 40-odd p, which I guess is a reasonable value. Although there still seems to be millions of gems in the system, because there are certain things in the list that are already over hundreds of thousands of gems.
I'm sure I saw something up near the top that was, like, well over a few million.
But the thing about it is that, like, this is only the first round of auctions. And the auctions run from the 15th of December to the 18th of December every 45 minutes. So that's like 3 days worth of 45-minute chunks. So that's like 300 auctions or something. Less than that.
But what are the chances of actually getting a bargain here? Like, I mean, it's not because you're trading your items, I suppose. Like, I want to know what I don't want to know what like the Dota style real world prices.
Well, if you assume that you're making, if you assume that everyone's making gems out of shit that they don't care about, like emotes, so that's already 40p for 1,000 gems is acceptable, I guess. And theoretically, if the sort of prices that look like they might be reasonable but aren't going to be for this first round of auctions, I mean, it might be like 10,000 gems to get something, and that's only like, £4, which is sort of not terrible for some smaller games.
No, and I suppose there is the risk. Well, how does it work? Like, do you have to be within a certain percentile or something to get it, or do you have to literally just be the top bidder?
And it's not really very well defined what's actually going to happen, because obviously it's like if you don't succeed in your bid, you get the gems back, and it has auto bidding up to your limit or whatever, all that kind of stuff, and you can't snipe or something. There's some kind of actual anti-sniping mechanism in there. So yeah, obviously. Do
you want to know what the top selling or the current highest bid is?
Well, it's over 1 million on the stupid holiday thing.
Well, it's not 1 million at the moment. Apparently, it's 666,000.
I could have sworn it was 1 million last time I looked.
I'm sure it was when I looked, yeah.
Maybe that was someone's account that got deleted. One of the people who made a whole bunch of gems.
Yeah. But yeah, it's currently 666,000 gems, which, by your logic, works out at what, like 40 quid? Or?
Yeah, probably.
Or 50 quid?
Quite a lot.
For a 2014 holiday profile theme?
Yes. So yeah.
Good God, people are nuts.
Really, it's like you basically just have to ignore that first page of auctions. The first round. It will only actually become possible to win things once it goes into the 45-minute cycle, because that's fast enough that there'll be actual opportunities for people with sane amounts of gems to bid.
Yeah. Because the range here is quite large. Like, the recently released indie title Bit Dungeon 2 currently has 8,000.
Yeah.
Whereas Mordor is 52,000.
That's not even that much, really.
So is it sort of worth getting involved with? Just buy a shit ton of shit for your inventory somehow?
You just buy the gems off people.
Oh, okay.
Don't buy shit. Because presumably by this point the supply and demand will have like evened everything out. Like all the cars and emotes and everything that are below the limit of valuable conversion into gems will presumably have already been bought.
Well, there's all the vocal coach stuff. Hey, do you want to learn Bulgarian?
How many gems?
2,000.
Oh, wow.
2,000 gems.
But that's the DLC though. So
it's the
not
DLC. Yeah, you'd need to buy Influent in order to use the Influent DLC packs. There's German and Mandarin and Japanese.
So yeah, that's weird and dumb, and it's like I almost kind of don't want to participate out of principle at this point.
It is weird. It's like it feels even weird. Like I was okay with trading cards.
Yeah,
to be honest, that's kind of cool. Even with the silly money side of it as well, that's kind of a cool thing. But is this going too far in some ways? I don't know. It feels a little gross.
Well, the fact that they cocked up that badly was the main problem.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's like it tainted the whole system now. You can't... If you buy gems, it's like you're probably buying dirty gems.
Dirty gems.
Dirty gems.
Not having your dirty gems.
It's like the only thing that I'm actually interested in is the gem conversion to booster packs. Because then I will be able to get rid of some of the shitty emotes and backgrounds that I've got in my inventory.
Yeah.
And I will be able to make more booster packs, although probably only like one more booster pack, because the actual value conversion to booster packs is like not up to 1,000 gems for one booster pack. So I could probably only make like one out of most of the stuff in my inventory.
You get a single table for Pinball FX for 3,000 gems. So there's a different table here for 4,000.
So yeah, that's what's been happening on Steam.
What's that, like 40p?
That's their pre-Christmas
craziness.
Yeah. Apparently it's just going to roll in directly into the holiday sale, so the holiday sale should start on the 18th.
They'll just have some of these... these will be running alongside, or will they stop it for the sale?
No, I think it just ends at the sale.
Okay.
I think the auction is meant to be 15th to 18th, and then the 18th is just when the holiday sale is going to start.
16,000 gems for Goat Simulator.
That's pretty cheap.
It's a game of 2014, maybe we should play it.
I don't think you need to play it, you can just watch it and that'll do.
I'll understand.
Yes.
And you got something like Borderlands 2 up at 25 grand. Weird thing.
Yep.
What a weird thing.
It's weird and dumb. Oh man, if I grab my phone, I should find that post on the Giant Bomb forums of someone who did a dramatic interpretation of Valve HQ during the cloning saga.
Was it like the dramatic reading of the...
No, it wasn't like an actual letter.
What was that even for? E-Balmer or something? Or what was that site used to be called?
E-Balm's World.
E-Balm's World, that's it.
The LOL.
Yeah, of course. The LOL.
Yes, the LOL.
LOL. Literally ran out the door. LOL.
Yes, exactly like that. So, anyway, what other news have you got while I look on the internet?
I suppose while we're on retail...
Yeah.
So the Nintendo stock problems with Smash Brothers got worse.
How so?
Well, because at the last we talked about it on the cast, we were talking about that people's orders were being delayed till supposedly December 19th.
Oh, right, yeah.
And things like that. That didn't last for long, and then they just started straight up cancelling because they had no idea that they can't get how much stock will be coming from Nintendo out of them. So they were just like, to be on the safe side, we need to cancel everything.
Well, I did say that was sort of happening already in America by the point that we were talking about it.
And it made it over here, and it's like, poo. It's real disappointing.
Yes, it is.
Because
then we can't play fucking Smash Bros. with God damn it!
With the controller that game was designed for, and we'll talk about it later. But I can't help but feel that's the only way to play it.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if I'm trying to get used to other methods, it's like that's the way. So Nintendo doing what Nintendo normally does and totally underestimating demand.
Maybe intentionally, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that, but it's possible, I guess, that it creates this air of exclusivity. And it's like, well, you need to fucking sell some consoles. It's like... It's like, at this point, your shit not being available is probably hurting you.
Yeah.
Because what was it? If you have like a...
Especially for it basically being their Christmas game, coincidentally.
Because what was it? If you have a hit game on a Nintendo platform, the adoption rates end up being super high. Like, Mario Kart's adoption rate is apparently 50%, which is insane. Like, I think any game on any other platform would love to have that sort of success, right? But... I mean, surely Smash Brothers must get close to that as well. Oh, well, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's a little more niche than Mario Kart.
Yeah, I guess so.
But even so, it's probably the reason a lot of people have even bought Wii U's. You know, like myself. Smash was basically the driving force. It just happens that it's just been lucky that Nintendo's had a pretty good year.
Oh, here we go. I found the post.
LOL.
Are you ready for a dramatic reading?
Can you dramatically read it?
Probably not.
This will be good.
So this is a forum post by... I have to call out the actual name since I'm just going to read this.
Okay.
It's the Giant Bomb user Giant Stalker.
Okay, hey Giant Stalker.
Coincidentally. In reply to a guy called Bacon Games saying, I would love to have heard the conversations on Farm at Valve during this whole thing. And this is his dramatic interpretation of the conversations at Valve during this whole thing. It's like, so... A man stares blankly at his monitor, a look of abject horror on his face as he witnesses the meltdown of December 2014 Steam auction. His supervisor stands back, more agape, at the ramifications of it all. After an eternity of stunned silence, he awkwardly clears his throat and mutters under his breath. We can't ignore this. We can't hide this. He whispers in hushed tones. Gaiman must be informed immediately. Informed of what? Says a third, much larger figure in the shadows behind. The others swim to attention and avert their gazes to the ground. My lord, the master squeaks. Newell steps forward and points. You speak. The auction has suffered a setback, sir. The gems have been. The longer game stands there. The colder and darker the room seems to become. Have been what? They've been duplicated. It's an exploit. The prices of booster packs have plummeted. They're now worth just a few cents. What used to be over $1 is now only about $3. Utter not that number in my presence. Faust apologies. What is to become of the auction? What of the gems already in system? There's a short pause before the large figure grumbles his reply. This ends now. I beg your pardon, my liege, but it can't be saved. We can fix this. Give us another chance. This ends now, the giant fellows. I will not tell you another time. Is that clear? As glass, Lord Neo. We should pull the plug on it immediately. Before the grovelling can cease, Gabe has shifted back into the shadows. His disappointed voice echoes around the room. Tomorrow, you should meet me in my chamber of knives. Deftly silence settles over the room. One person coughs. A single drop pencil clinks to the floor. Bring the economist.
That's pretty great.
That's a good one.
Bring the economist. I like that. I like the fact, I just like the concept of Gabe Newell having a chamber of knives.
A lot of knives.
Utter that number.
That was a good one. It's handily convenient that the minimum price on Steam is in fact free.
Yeah.
To make that a double joke.
It's reduced to 3 cents. Yeah, I see what you did there.
So yeah, anyway, that's the Steam news again. Back to what we were talking about.
Smash Bros.
Yes.
Well,
maybe not really.
Well, yeah, not really. I don't really have much to really add to that.
That was the news.
Yeah. Suppose we could staying on Nintendo, I guess. Some stuff came out of the Game Awards for Nintendo. Like, they were essentially demoing the world of the new Zelda game.
Oh, right, yeah, I think I saw about that.
Yeah, I haven't actually watched it. But,
well, the main problem of it is that for some reason they decided that they weren't going to make it an actual demo. They were going to make it here on a TV screen with 2 guys sitting next to it talking about it.
Which has made a lot of people really weirdly sceptical about it, haven't they? It's like,
well, it's because they can't see it at full resolution or whatever.
But I think I kind of agree with the thought that they did that because perhaps there's some rough edges.
Well, I think it's fairly clear that there's some rough edges, really. even from like just the way it cuts between different scenes. I mean, obviously, I guess in the game that's maybe it's because it's cutting between different places. It's not really designed to do that, I suppose. But
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But yeah,
It might be something that the game, you just don't do in the game.
Yeah.
So
I didn't really watch all of that, mainly because I couldn't withstand the annoying like dubbed translations.
oh, right, okay. Was it like super cheesy voice?
Yes,
or something?
exactly, super cheesy voice.
Were they streaming it live with the translators?
I don't know what they did at the time.
Hmm.
I only saw it as a video later.
Was it like part of a direct or something? Or
Probably, I imagine it would have been. Seems like the kind of thing they do. But yeah, so you saw some of that. The important thing being that apparently horses won't ride into trees because that's not realistic. They're like, horses don't ride into trees naturally, so we made our horses not ride into trees. Like, as in the horse kind of has some kind of automatic pathing AI even when you're not directly controlling it. So it's like it will try to go vaguely in the direction you pointed it last, but then that also allows you to do things like shoot the bow because it automatically navigates around obstacles so your horse just doesn't bump into a tree and stop.
Sure. So trying to perhaps solve some... I can't remember how games like Red Dead and stuff handled it, whether they had like a snap to road thing or auto drive.
Yeah,
as it is in
I think they did it to some extent. And also in Red Dead's case, there wasn't quite so many tree-like obstacles. There was cliffs and rocks.
I guess, there were certain areas of the map that could be a little confined.
Yeah.
Like hills and stuff, you'd be a little trickier to traverse. And you didn't really want to ride off into the wilderness because it got dangerous out there. Like, stay away from if you just went off the roads, it could be a little problematic.
Hmm.
So apparently that's coming out next year.
And, well, sure. It's a whole year of time that they've got to work on that.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't seem like, I suppose in Nintendo time that's not so bad. They do have a tendency of like showing you the first bit of a game and then it being friggin' ages until it actually comes out.
Yeah.
But and apparently it's been said that the Star Fox game will come out before it.
Well, that's not surprising either, because Star Fox is a much easier game to make.
I guess, but we've seen so much less of it.
It's not much to see. It's just spaceships shooting things.
Shut up, Star Fox is amazing. It better be amazing. Better not be another Star Fox Assault, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That means we get to look forward to... there's at least 3 Nintendo games to look forward to next year on the Wii U. In fact,
eventually, yes.
I'm putting Splatoon in that as well.
Yeah.
Because that looks great. So, good news, Nintendo fans.
Sort of. Apart from there's been this whole entire year where there hasn't been anything on the Wii U.
Well, Bayonetta 2,
Yes.
Mario Kart 8.
That's the only thing.
Those, if you were going by the same logic, there's been 3 good games on the Wii U this year. Yeah, Mario Kart 8, Bayonetta 2, and Smash Bros.
Yes, but it was practically launch. You can't have such a shitty... You have to have something to start it off with. That's the problem.
Well, I guess that's the other thing. Captain Toad is now no longer a game of 2014 in Europe.
Yeah.
Because it got bumped until next year. But in America, it's already out.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And apparently it's pretty great.
Maybe not worth the money, though.
No. I've heard that as well. But it's not a full price release, is it?
Well, no, but apparently maybe not even worth the less price.
Mm. But I guess that's, the normal paying for the Nintendo seal of quality problem.
Yeah.
But, I'm not gonna argue with good games. Even I came round to the idea that the new Super Mario Bros. U was pretty okay.
Because you'd only played one of them.
Yeah, that's also probably true. Probably true. I think I've only played one.
Yes, you wouldn't know.
Maybe secretly I've now played all of them.
Someone kept coming into your house and changing the disc, and you couldn't even tell.
Yeah,
because it was just another level.
Exactly. Just all the same. Yeah. Broken games are broken.
We said that last time.
I know, but it keeps going.
It doesn't. There's no actual new news about that situation.
Well, Did we talk about the? I suppose we did talk about the Ubisoft Season Pass stuff, didn't we? Last time?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, well, that's all done. And the fact that there's been another Halo patch that was described as "we've got it this time, we've got it," and it's like better but not fixed.
No.
Oh, and the Assassin's Creed Unity patch did 1 or 2% improvements in frame rate and stuff. It's like, oh great, that was well worth it, guys. Just that. But the year of the broken game continues.
I hear people are kind of pissed at Destiny for the first DLC make some changes. Like it adds.
Oh, the end game grind is different.
Well, I hear that what they did was one of the DLCs adds a strike or whatever, which is the end game content or whatever. And no, it's
was it the raid? Because there's the raids. The raids are the super late game stuff.
It's one of the things you do quite late in the game, anyway. But it's a weekly thing. But they've added the DLC one to the weekly pool. So if the DLC one comes up at random during your week, people without the DLC don't get their weekly thing.
I see.
So it's that's kind of poops.
Yeah, it's quite annoying. I can see that. That comes across as a cynical business decision to move everyone to the DLC, and if you don't buy the DLC, you're fucked. Haha.
Yeah, exactly. That's why everyone's pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems rightly angered. Seems legit.
And it's not like Destiny is it's not multiplayer enough to worry about splitting the user base.
No.
You don't have to get everyone into the DLC.
Yeah, and they're still claiming tons of users, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it seems a bit of a weird thing to do. But then again, Activision loves money, so
Activision.
Well, it's published by Activision, isn't it?
Yeah, but how much were they really getting?
I don't know. It cost them $500 million to dev this
well,
thing.
That's true.
And it's
well, not. I don't even know how much of that was their money exactly.
You never do, I suppose. It could have been Bungie's. Bungie's must have had a shit ton of money.
Or maybe Microsoft too.
Yeah. Also possible. I'm trying to think. There's some people have, and I haven't experienced it myself, but in the Broken Games are Broken saga, apparently the Smash Bros. Online stuff isn't too hot.
Well, the 3DS one had some kind of problems.
Yeah. Apparently the Wii U version just straight up doesn't work for some people. Or
wouldn't be that surprising, because it's just what sort of internet configurations options do you even have in a Wii U?
Not a great deal.
Yeah. Nintendo still haven't really...
Well, it's because it just assumes, you have the internet, that's fine. I will work now.
Yes. It doesn't let you actually fiddle with it at all.
But then again, there shouldn't be a lot to fiddle with. I mean, most of the time when you have to tinker with that stuff, it's in your router or something, isn't it? These days.
Yeah, but then sometimes you need to tell it to boot your router.
Boot your router. Boot my route. Yeah, the year of broken games continues.
It's not really a year. It's 3 months of broken games. They all happened right at the end.
Yeah. Well, you might argue... Well, for me at least, Titanfall has always been a little busted.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, for some reason, the connection of it all just seems super dodgy. So I can't even say EA got away with it this year. But then, to a certain extent, you could say that EA got away with it this year because they just haven't put out many games.
Yeah, exactly.
So they probably would all be fucked.
I download...
Dragon Age seems alright, doesn't it? People don't seem that annoyed with... I mean, it won the Game of the Year from the Game Awards, which I think is a bit odd. I don't know. It doesn't strike me as the Game of the Year. Having not played it, that's a snap judgment.
There's not really been that many other spectacular ones.
Bayonetta 2, come on.
I knew you'd say that, but that's not the right kind of game for that kind of award.
Why not? It's a fun-ass video game that everyone loves.
Yeah, but it's not mainstream. I mean, even Dragon Age winning it is, weirdly not quite mainstream enough, yeah. But they probably couldn't just give it to Call of Duty. Because A, that's not a good game,
Yeah, but
particularly.
Did it ever get those?
I don't know, maybe.
Just like, surely last year was like Last of Us and all that stuff, just walking away with everything.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, when was the
But
last time Call of Duty actually got anything?
Even Last of Us is the right kind of game for mainstreamness.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's just like, it's a shooter with zombies.
Sure.
And a story. And that's what makes it good.
Yeah, and it was, super well known enough. Yeah, which maybe you're right. Bayonetta 2 hasn't been well advertised and stuff like that. Because
the fact that it ended up on the Wii U didn't help it, really.
Great with that. I want to know what the situation was. I don't have a problem with how that game came about in the end, in that no one wanted to pick it up, and it took Nintendo to see that it was amazing, and
maybe, or just to say like, we'll give you some money to finish off this mostly finished game, and then just put it on our platform.
Yeah, basically. But it took Nintendo to do that rather than anyone else. But I want to know what the situation was that meant Sega thought it was a bad idea to continue, because they were the ones funding it originally, and then pulled the plug, and it took Ninty to pick it up. It's like,
it was going to be on,
which makes it a slightly weird product when you think about it, because there's quite a few Sega references still in it, because it was obviously partially developed.
Well, that's not that weird for Nintendo at this point. Nintendo and Sega are crossing over a lot more nowadays.
No, but like technically Sega aren't really involved in unless Sega own the IP, I don't know. But they don't get like an intro sequence credit or something. It's not like Sega are heavily credited in the game. But there are a number of references, like Top Gun and... sorry, not Top Gun, Afterburner and things are still referenced. Makes it a kind of a weird thing. Because there's no real Nintendo references other than the costume stuff.
That's a fairly heavy Nintendo reference.
But there's nothing in the like plot or something. Like, those games are fucking bonkers enough where, like, at least in the first one, they're doing literal Space Harrier references in the middle of the bloody game and stuff like that, or they'll be saying things that are quotes from different games. Like, in Bayonetta 2, during the early sequences, you apparently charter a flight from a certain Alex the Kid. And it's, things like that. It's like, that line didn't even have to be there. You just threw it in there because it's a Sega thing.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily even that unusual for any game. You can throw in dumb references like that, and you don't even have to claim IP. You can just change one word to Alex the Kid, and you're done. That's perfectly safe as a reference.
There's a throwaway comment that Rodan makes about doing stuff with chickens that I can only assume refers to Billy Hatcher, and it's
okay.
I don't know. I don't know what Billy Hatcher's about or how you actually end up playing it, but it's like, I'm playing this crazy game. We have to sprinkle eggs to make them hatch. It's like,
okay,
what?
That is a reference that's even a bit weird.
Yeah, but the game's full of them. I wonder what it would have been like had it been Nintendo from the start or something. Bring it up. Would they have just gone all Nintendo reference somehow? What
it would have been like if they actually managed to release it on the PlayStation like they were going to originally?
Well, it depends what the timelines used to be. Like, if it was before... If Bayonetta 2 was going to come out in decent time before next gen, like, how long was it sat on the shelf before Nintendo picked it up, I guess is the question there. But anyway, what else could you reckon could be up for Game of the Year type stuff?
Let's not talk about that yet. We've still got like another 2 weeks before we
actually... Yeah, I know, but I meant like in the mainstreamy sort of games that things like the Game Awards would consider, because that doesn't concern us.
I haven't been thinking about games sufficiently enough to even remember what came out this year at this point, so...
Fair enough.
As I said, that's for the next 2 weeks when I'll look at the wiki page and look through every single game that came out this year and be like, oh yeah.
I totally didn't know that the second half of Broken Age just hadn't come out yet.
Well, I knew that it had been hella delayed and there was a whole kerfuffle about it.
I assumed it had just hadn't been that long after the first. I didn't realise it was still not out. Like, not like I sort of gave up caring about that game, but
I don't remember exactly what happened. But didn't they even think about re-Kickstartering to get even more money?
I think they said that, yeah. But then everyone got a bit annoyed at them.
Yes, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. So, in Broken Games Are Broken, they supposedly have sort of fixed some of Drive Club now. That's the one game that seems to have been improved marginally. Apparently some of the online challenge stuff, its selling point in a way, the thing that it did that was different from everything else.
Yeah.
Apparently that's back.
Okay.
And I didn't check if this had actually happened or not, but they were heavily hinting that one of the patches recently was including the rain.
Okay.
So they finally brought the rain. The thing that they were advertising the game with, like, before it came out and stuff. It's like, hey, look how good our rain is. And it's like, it's finally made it into the game. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't care. So the other thing that happened was that PlayStation experience.
Yeah.
Which apparently was hella long.
And yet not really that interesting.
No. Yeah, number of weird announcements going on. I guess what everyone seems to be describing it as the biggest announcement was the Street Fighter V announcement.
That wasn't really an announcement. It
was a teaser trailer.
It was like a half leak.
Yeah. And, well, they were only supposed to show, like, the teaser trailer at first, and then because it got leaked, they bumped up the gameplay trailer to being in the show rather than showing a couple of weeks later. I think I forget what it's called, but it's like a fighting tournament or something they were going to show it at.
Right.
And, I was also, it looks like Street Fighter, obviously, but a lot of people have been saying it's like, oh, I wish they'd have changed up the art style or something because, Street Fighter 4's thing was the inky look.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm all kind of like, no, that is, to me, that is now Street Fighter's look. I want you to go even more down that road. And I think they've actually done a Dead or Alive and gone sort of back from it a little. Well, it's like it looks a bit less inky to
me. I don't think you can go further than 4 did. I think that's plenty enough.
But I really liked it. I think it made it stand out from the crowd, whereas I think what they've shown of 5 so far, as I say, looks a little Dead or Alive-y in a way, sort of that exaggerated realism in a silly way. It doesn't look quite as cartoony enough or as vibrant. It just looks like a little too close to generic high-fidelity fighter to me. I don't know. I think I preferred how it used to be. Because Killer Instinct, to me, already locked up that look. Like, slightly cartoony, high-fidelity fighter look. Just with an awesome announcer.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to be sort of excited about it, but, someone's going to be excited because it's Street Fighter, right?
Maybe.
Maybe. There's a lot of hints, apparently. Apparently, again, I wouldn't be able to tell you how you would have discerned this or anything, that it is likely to be a little like either the Third Strike games or maybe a hint of Alpha in there or something. No idea what that means. But so there you go. Street Fighter 5. Dun, 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 dun. What else happened? There was some No Man's Sky stuff.
Sort of, again. Another weird trailer that doesn't actually really show anything.
Just sort of atmospheric shit and a portal. I guess the portals are the new thing, right?
Well, the funny thing about that trailer was, I'm not sure if it was their official, what they labelled that thing as, but somewhere the trailer was labelled as 5 ways to travel in No Man's Sky. So it's only count 4.
Okay, so you got
there's walking, there's flying,
portals.
There's portals, and I guess you count flying between planets because that's like warp drive, sort of.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
But that's it. What is the 5th mode?
Space portals. I don't know. Portals in space.
I don't think there was a space portal. There was just warp drive. So unless flying in atmosphere and flying in space count as 2 different things, I don't see 5.
Yeah. Okay. Swimming?
No, they never went in water.
There's no buggy-like thing?
No. There's just a spaceship and a different spaceship.
I think we kind of want something to just do a full-on Mass Effect and have that weird... What was it even called?
The Mako.
Mako, yeah. Just have a Mako vehicle that would trundle around.
They totally should. It was fine. Yeah. I don't know what everyone was complaining about.
Because it was kind of dumb trying to get around some bits of that landscape.
what was kind of dumb wasn't the control of the vehicle, it was the design of the landscape.
Yes, this is true.
They hadn't really designed the landscape with the vehicle in mind. It was just like, here's a random bump map, drive over it.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like low polygon count and everything.
Yeah. It's like Screamer 4x4 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, not wrong. And then you get that horrible moment. It's like, oh, a little bit stuck. Better fire the boosters, and of course it fires you away from the thing you're trying to climb. It's
it doesn't fire you vertically. It fires you vertically, like at right angles to the surface you're on.
Yeah,
not vertically compared to gravity.
Yeah, like oh god, I'm just flown all the way back down. And then you get killed by a thrasher ball.
Yep,
just appearing under you, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake! That's basically the rule of Mass Effect 1, wasn't it? Save all the time.
Well, and whenever you think there might be a fresh board, like when there's a big flat open space and there's a mission objective nearby, just drive very carefully, and then when you see it, just drive in circles, never stop moving.
Never stop. What else happened then? I suppose there was the fake out Final Fantasy thing.
It wasn't really a fake out, it was just really bad.
Yeah, it was.
They didn't realise how much that would inevitably piss everyone off. It was like what they did with Vibram, basically, apart from this time it actually is the thing that everyone was worried about, rather than, like, in Vibram's case, people wanted it to just be re-released.
Yeah.
And released in new territories in that case, I guess. But for Final Fantasy VII, it was like, we kind of really want a remake here, not just you to release the same fucking game again.
Well, yeah, because it's happened so much. It didn't need an on-stage announcement, because it's just another bloody port.
And it's not even really another port, it's just like the same port, only reported onto another platform.
Yeah. Port for port. A port.
Yeah.
A double porting. Yeah, it doesn't make a great deal of sense. Like, why did... I mean, I know Final Fantasy VII is revered and all that stuff, and Square knows that it's revered, but it's not that revered that just playing it again is a good thing.
No.
You got to do something to it. How fucking little do they understand about their own properties? I don't know. It's real dumb.
It's like, even if it's like, they could have just done a retranslation, and that would probably have been enough to make people vaguely enthusiastic about it to some extent. Because, as we've been discovering for our videos, the translation is fucked.
In a couple of places, it doesn't make a great deal of sense. And just, it doesn't help the storyline make any sense at all. It's like, we've got to go get this thing. Well, this thing's going over here now. But wasn't it going there in the first place? No, we're just going to take it underwater for a bit. And then we're going to put it in a rocket. And you're just like, what? The fuck is going on?
Always remember the word life force.
Yes. Just remember it. Hard. Oh, that's a dumb fucking game.
See our videos for more detail.
Yeah, definitely see all 27 parts thus far. Of which I think 27 of them are now up.
Yes,
finally. There's a 28th to come.
You took a long time to upload that.
It's because I've not been about, ever. I've been busy and like things.
You told me literally a week ago that you pretty much had it done. And then you were like, oh.
I did, I had it all encoded and stuff and then forgot about it.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't saying you hadn't done it. I was saying you didn't upload it.
Yeah, I forgot that bit. I did it this morning.
Yes, I noticed.
I did it this morning. I shaved them all off. Did it last night. I haven't got a lot else here other than they showed Uncharted 4, which looked a lot like Uncharted.
Naturally.
But I'm okay with that because I love Uncharted. More Nathan Drake talking to himself and Brother Drake. Which in the greatest bit of casting ever, is now Nolan North and Troy Baker in the same game. Which I'm sure has happened before, but
I think it would have been greater to just have Nolan North talking to himself in a slightly different accent.
He's done that before.
Well, yeah, but I mean, very much more close to actually just him.
Yeah, and then maybe that would have made more sense in the whole brother thing.
Exactly.
It's fine. Yeah, it also sort of highlighted to me. I don't know if it's just a PS4 thing or if it's a next gen thing in general. But when you're watching these streams of these like super new, good-looking games, everything ends up looking a lot like clay to me. There's a sort of clay-y texture to everything.
Okay.
A bit more matte or something. Maybe it's because they're trying to round off the surfaces of things a little more, but it just looks odd. Like I noticed it in the Metal Gear stuff. It's like an Uncharted kind of has that same look to it all. And I don't know if that's just because of through videos on the internet or something gets lost. Or if you then see it in action, would that problem just go away? I don't know. But I wrote clay in my notes.
Okay.
Well, and an extra K for some reason. So, yeah.
Okay.
So clay K. The only other news I have of some importance is that I don't even know how you pronounce this, but so I hope I get it right, and I don't mean any disrespect. But Ralph Baer, the creator of the Magnavox Odyssey, the first home console, is dead at the age of 92.
Good news that was.
Well, yeah, it's in theory the granddaddy of the hobby we now have all come to love and hate simultaneously.
Mm.
I mean, someone else probably would have done it, but he was the first.
Someone else would have already done something, everything.
Yeah.
That's how the world works. If you don't do it, someone will. If you don't eat that pizza, someone will.
Yeah. And I'd rather it would be me.
Yep.
Yep, so, sad news.
Okay, that's the end of news.
That is the end of news.
Okay then.
On that bombshell, on that happy news, let's talk about some happy games.
I guess.
Go!
So,
Smash Bros.
Do you really want to talk about that immediately? Do
We're
you?
going to talk about Smash Bros.
There's not much to talk about.
It's Smash Bros.
Smash Bros.
Well, and playing it on not a GameCube controller is really weird.
Kind of sucks.
Well, because Nintendo moved the buttons around, and they instead of mapping what was A on the GameCube controller to where A is, well, where A isn't, I suppose now. They just moved the buttons around, so the buttons are still the same, but they're obviously in different places.
But that's just a controller remapping issue. That's just default controllers.
Yeah,
you just change them.
Yeah, fortunately they have by profile control settings, so it remembers it by every person.
Your washing machine is spinning so fast I can feel it here.
Yep, so can I. I can feel it. I can feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes.
Mostly my toes.
Do.
It's also making something in here vibrate enough to hear it.
Sounds like the chair, or maybe it's ugly chair.
Ugly chairs vibrating to that.
So what do you want to talk about?
Well, what you want to talk about Smash Bros? It's not ugly chair. It sounds closer than ugly chair. No, it's the coffee table.
Something on the coffee table is rattling. No, it's this. It's actually the glass.
I think it's at this end. No, well, never mind. Your spin cycle's just about to finish by the sounds of it, so...
Well, never know.
And no one will be able to hear that, so never mind.
Oh, God damn it. This will be something else I will not cut out.
Nope. Never cut anything out.
Never cut. Telephone calls? No. Echoey roll in the distance? No.
You closed the door on your cat. You went over there to close the door and the cat was like, no, I want to leave. And now she's going to open the door again. Do it, cat. Oh,
no,
it's failed.
Oh, fucking talk about a game.
Talk about the game. There's not really much to talk about in Smash Bros. It still seems to be Smash Bros. They failed completely in their plan of not making any clones.
Well, yeah.
Everyone knew that.
That definitely happened. I mean, HD is nice.
I guess. I was still having problems following where the fuck I was. I'm not sure what it is about it that I was having trouble with.
So just because we were trying some 8-player battles, and it's just a little bit hard?
Maybe. I think it might be that just the name tags are too small now. Now that it's all high D. High D?
High D?
High D. That's still technically correct.
It's high def, Heidi.
It's Heidi. The cat opened the door again.
Oh, fuck you, kitty.
Yeah, I think like now that it's high definition so you can actually read it, that prompted them to make the text a lot smaller. Whereas before, when it was just like 3 giant fucking letters,
Yeah.
that made it quite easy to see.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean,
Maybe we should just make our names extra long.
Yeah, maybe that would help. Yeah, and instead of just having like sticking to the old 4-character limit, I should just like replicate robe like separate times.
Robe.
Be robe. Robe. Yeah, we could try that.
I don't know. But yeah.
It's like there were elements of it that I feel are a little underbaked. Like, I kind of wish classic mode was actually like the classic mode. Yeah. Rather than being that sort of strange, not quite board game thing. It's not to be confused with the Smash Tour board game thing, which I haven't yet to try.
Well, it just seems like...
It's utterly pointless.
Well, it seems like now that they can have more people per fight, they just do. And that makes it seem shorter, which it is.
Well, it is shorter. It's like 6 or 7 rounds as opposed to like the 10-round thing it used to be. And there's no bonus stages in there either or any of that stuff. Which is a bit of a bummer because it's like it was that crazy stuff that made the game good. You know, or a little bit, or those modes a little more interesting to plow through with every character and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like now there's a ton of characters. They've made it less interesting, and that's like it's just less appealing. Why would you do that? And it's little things like that that make me feel like there's just been a little less effort put into this one compared to some of the previous entries. Like because the jump from Melee to Brawl, for instance, was quite a big one, not just in terms of presentation, but in terms of the amount of music they put into it and stuff. And it's like, you can argue, okay, now they don't need to do so much because they did all the work for the Brawl, but because there isn't so much new stuff this time, it just feels a little less as a result. You want the changes to be big, you want them to be crazy, you want them to be...
Yeah, but not really.
You want the base game to still play okay, but I kind of like the variation of objects and stuff like that to be a little more extreme than perhaps it is. There is some weird shit in there though, like the special flag or something, which isn't really an item that acts as a weapon. But if you pick it up, and your character will stand still for a while and hold it above their head, and if you stand still for long enough, you will score a point. Like just straight up get a point,
right?
Like, unless someone knocks you out of it, you're totally vulnerable while doing that. It's like there are some odd things there, but I'm not sure I've played enough of it yet to really sort of necessarily get a total feel on how the new item system works.
There's not that many, I don't imagine. The only things that will actually be that different will be new Pokemon out of Pokeballs. And new support trophies, probably.
Oh yeah, there's definitely new support trophies. Seen a few of those already. And there's I don't know. Maybe this time round it feels like the ratio of new to old is more old than new, but maybe that's the point. Just the point in the series they're getting to. Like even in the number of stages that are in the game.
Even though they took a load of the old out, essentially.
Yeah,
by removing a bunch of characters and stages.
Maybe it's just not fresh anymore. I don't know, but.
I don't want it to be fresh, just want it to be new.
So fresh and so clean. But it's still fun. Still enjoying it.
It'd be more fun if we didn't have to use shitty controllers.
Yep. Yeah, alright. Do you not think much of the Wii Classic controller?
There's 2 main problems with that controller, is that the buttons have a ridiculous amount of travel on them that isn't actually related to the button press.
Yeah, there's travel before the click.
There's like travel before the click and travel after the click. So it's just like they're just really squidgy and also like sharp-edged because that's just how that controller's designed.
Yeah.
And also the sticks are like not the greatest. They're fairly loose, and I find that when I'm trying to push down, I tend to drift to the side really easily for some reason.
Yeah, okay. Just dimensions, you reckon? Just the size of the thing, the fact that it's thinner?
Maybe.
But it's because they still have the 8-way notches, don't they?
Yeah, but they're not, it's not as... I don't know, I guess I just don't hit the notches. Just like... When I push down, just like, as soon as I hit the bottom, that's enough, and I don't realise that I'm not centred.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's not the greatest controller.
But either way, we'll be playing a shit ton more of it.
I guess.
I guess we will, because it's Smash Bros.
We just need to get the GameCube adapter somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I don't think that's going to happen for a while. Maybe I'll get hold of a Pro controller or something. But which might be a better way for me to go back and play some Bayonetta 2, but...
Yeah, potentially.
But it's alright. There's a ton of stuff to do there. I do kind of miss the bonkersness of Subspace Emissary and the
platforming.
Yeah, the skanky is it the dungeon stage or something from the old extended quest? Or was it adventure mode from Melee? Wasn't it? Where you got those slightly different stages, like one that was themed on Mario 1-1 and things like that. I kind of miss that variety. Not that there isn't already a hugely variable game, I suppose, but it's just, it's the stuff they've taken away hasn't really been replaced. I don't think.
Well, I guess it was maybe that was just another part of them saying they were trying to make it more like an actual fighting game.
Yeah,
which meant not having a random dumb story thing and not having so much stuff that was basically just like Nintendo themed, those levels and stuff.
Less
because it was just
you mean.
It's just a celebration of Nintendo. But then it's we did that in that game. We don't need to do that again.
Yeah,
that's not what this game is about. Technically, that was just a thing that we did. This game is actually about fighting, so let's just concentrate on that bit.
Yeah, maybe. Although I'm not 100% on whether it, I can't really say whether or not that's super tight or not. They really made that.
Well,
because I have problems with how the combo. It doesn't really have a proper combo system, and people can interrupt you mid flow quite easily and stuff like that. And it's.
I read some of the tips page, and even that had some stuff that I wasn't aware of. That may or may not have been in the old games that I wouldn't have even known if it was. Such as if you crouch, you get launched less when you get hit.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But if you're crouched and moving, as in crawling, you get launched just as much as normal. It's A, why is that even a thing? And B, when would you ever do that?
Yeah.
I'm going to crouch so I don't get punched quite as much.
Yeah, wouldn't you just shield up?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's slightly faster or something, I don't know.
I guess.
Or you could use it to your advantage to try and get away a bit.
Or maybe if you've used your shield but it hasn't broken, but you know it will break if you get hit again, you're I can defend it this way in a non-shielded way. It means I'm going to get hit, but I'll get launched less.
Yeah, maybe. Pro tactics.
But not, though, I'm sure. I don't think that's ever been a thing that anyone has ever had to worry about in a pro match.
So that really counts as a tip, then.
Yeah, exactly. It's here's some useless information about something you're never going to see happen, ever.
I mean, the game does have these, little tips that pop up. It's one of those weird things, and the loading times are a tiny bit longer than they used to be between things, and it feels like there's a few more of them. But at the same time, the loading isn't long enough for them to justify the tips that appear during the loading pauses, because it's just not quite enough time to actually read them.
Well, that's why there's the tips page.
Yeah.
You can just look at them all.
There is, yeah.
Or not really look at them all.
Well, you get a
randomly page through them.
Yeah.
They should have had you be able to look at them all.
Yeah, like an organised manual or something.
Or they should have just
I think some of them only appear depending on what characters you have unlocked. It won't start telling you stuff about Duck Hunt until you unlock Duck Hunt.
They should have just tied the tips into another unlock grid, where it's certain tips don't appear until you do something. The ones that are character specific. When you unlock the character, then you can see those tips.
Maybe, or you get more tips depending on what milestones you've reached, or something. That could be kind of cool.
More unlocks. That's all you want.
Yeah. On that note, it's still got the event mode and things, even if the presentation isn't perhaps quite as nice as it used to be. But it gives you a ton of stuff. It's the way I'm sort of playing the game at the moment, because it's what challenges have I got open to do? Let's see if I can do one. Because it kind of helps guide you through what you should do.
Hmm.
because without like a properly organised. Well, because like when I first booted it up, like just finding the solo stuff, it was a little weird. It's like you boot it up and you get the choice between like Smash mode or 8-player Smash mode or something, or Smash Tour, and you're like, well, none of those sounds like the classic mode. Where's the classic mode? And then you have to dig into the games and more section, and then you get presented with solo mode and stuff like that, and it's like, what? Who organised this?
It's because they know that most of the time you play it, you just go straight into the Smash mode.
This is true. And it has the biggest button.
Yeah.
Well, and I was telling you earlier, wasn't I? Like, I kind of wish that it did more with the touchscreen. Not because, like, not in like touchscreen fighting controls or anything like that, but just that those menus have always had this like virtual cursor essentially, and that you move around the screen to put your character thing down and to pick names and to pick the CPU difficulties and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, surely that is the perfect interface to have just mapped to the touchscreen. And they haven't. The only place the touchscreen is used is in the stage creator, which is in itself slightly arse. It's like it's got some good ideas in there, but it's just not as. I feel like you can't make as much in it as you could in the previous one.
Well, you could make better terrain, but not as good preset bits.
Yeah.
So you can't make it as actually interesting.
Yeah, the sort of terrain drawing mechanics needed to have been an addition, not the thing. That like not the only thing that it does.
Yeah.
Saying that, I have seen threads online of people like just recreating old stages from the series using the stage creator with quite a bit of success.
Well, obviously, because a lot of the old stages aren't anything apart from platforms, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and trying to make the landscape at least slightly look like the thing that it was. So Smash Bros.
Yeah.
It's finally out.
Well, it's been finally out for quite a while, but we
finally have it, yeah. Finally having a good time with it. All right. Luigi. Oh, it's just, I can't remember. He's got a slightly different intonation on how he says Luigi now.
Yep.
Luigi. Oh, have you been playing anything good? I haven't, because I really haven't. I tried to play a bit more Max and the Curse of Brotherhood.
Right.
But there is no draw at that game at all, which is ironic given it's a game about using a magic marker to draw things. But thought I'd spell that one out for you.
Woo.
See what I did there? See what I did there?
No, that would only be if you're playing Scribblenauts.
No.
Ah.
Yeah. See what you did there? I think we both sound like we're getting pretty tired.
You do?
I do.
I just haven't been talking as much.
Oh, okay, you better talk some more then.
We've got some other games to talk about.
Hide my tiredness with your voice.
Yes, try not to totally fall asleep, though. That's the important thing.
Sorry, what?
Well, we played a bit of Torchlight 2 for some reason.
Did.
Because I don't know, I guess I felt like playing. So now I played some more because once I've started,
I did see you go back into it, yeah.
It draws me into it slightly.
But I think it's because we'd left it so long. Actually going back to it seemed kind of cool.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, it felt different enough from everything we normally play.
Well, yeah.
That it was kind of fun.
But
trying to figure it all out again.
Well, yeah, that is the sort of problem bit. Remembering what you were doing is part of the problem, but then the other part of the problem is more a problem with just that type of game in general. Is you still have to spend like half an hour just standing around town managing things periodically.
Yeah, it's like, do I actually want any of this stuff?
Like even more so than Guild Wars.
Well, I don't know about it. You're going to spend a long fucking time dealing with shit in Guild Wars if you want to.
You can, but it's not like a lot of the time in Guild Wars. It's not quite so like immediately critical. Like in Torchlight, you have to be constantly switching out armor and weapons and stuff. So every time your infantry gets full, you have to basically go through and be like, okay, do I want any of this or can I sell it all?
Yeah, just have a look at it all and go, is this good? Is this good? Because you only ever get something that's not that far above your level.
Yeah.
Dropping.
So yeah, I played a bit more of that. I started another new character because I didn't want to go back to any of my old ones again.
What type?
I started another engineer, but I was trying to play as a melee engineer instead of a ranged one like I did last time. Or my main character, I guess, was a ranged engineer. And then melee engineer was, I don't know, it was like, even though I was trying to spec it towards that, I couldn't see exactly what the best combos of skills were. Because you have, like, my ranged engineer, I have the shield, basically. But in that setup, the shield is basically what I use my charge bar on.
Right.
Because, like, for that engineer's setup, like, the charge bar goes up as you shoot or whatever, and then when you hit the shield, the amount of charge in your charge bar converts into shield strength, basically.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
But then, so the trouble with that is that it drains the charge bar entirely to create the shield, and it's just like however much you had, it changes how strong the shield was.
Okay, so you're left being slightly less powerful as a result of using your charge, but with a shield?
Well, no, because the charge doesn't really power up the engineer in any other way.
Okay.
It's like it's only when you use it that it becomes functional.
Like, because I'm playing as an Outlander.
Yeah.
And does the Outlander not have a charge ability? Because I think I read the text and it just said she gets more powerful as her charge goes up. Or...
Yeah, I think, well, maybe some abilities use it. Maybe you just haven't got to those abilities yet.
Yeah, perhaps.
But yeah, that one does have, like, and the Berserker obviously has so the Outlander has, like, it constantly gets better as you gain charge, and then the Berserker has, like, you get slightly better, but then when it charges, you go into, like, the overpower mode where you just get insane health regeneration for a little period of time. But then the Engineers is more passive. It's like you don't really benefit very much from having charge, but you have, or like a lot of your skills use it in some way.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, so in like my ranged engineer, I have the dump my whole charge bar into the shield, and that helps me stay alive when I can't keep everything at range. But then that's not really compatible with a melee engineer, which is really awkward, because I was like, obviously as a melee engineer, I'm going to get hit more. So I was like, well, maybe I should have the shield. But then I looked at it, and it's like, because that drains your entire charge bar, that kind of prevents you from using it in conjunction with a lot of the other skills, like the actual combat skills that use parts of your charge bar.
I see, yeah.
So I was like...
Because you sacrifice the whole thing.
Yeah, because you just burn the whole thing.
Then have to hope you can sit through some more combat to get some back.
Yeah, so I was like, that's kind of weird. But then I was... Basically, I only have one active skill on that engineer. Like, I just was putting all my points into the passives. So he has, like... Obviously, there's the passive that gives you better armor, because that is obviously, you just need that anyway. And then, like, the passive for, like, making your two-handed weapons better. And then there's one that makes it so that occasionally your two-handed weapons go overcharged, so you do extra damage. And then the last one I was using was one where whenever you activate a skill that consumes charge, you get a bit of health. So that was how I was tanking that instead. So, like, my one attacking skill uses, like, 1 point of charge to create a, air of effect, burst, hammer strike, or whatever. So then it's like, whenever I'm doing that, I'm getting a bit of extra health back while I'm tanking. And then relying on, a bit of vampire on my weapon or whatever to keep my health up otherwise.
Sure.
And spamming potions like crazy. It's like, it's really weird because, like, on my main character, that original engineer that I had with the shield, because it's all about the shield, I've virtually never used any potions ever. Whereas on the character I'm playing with you and this other character, I'm using potions nearly constantly, which is sort of more traditional in a way.
I guess, yeah. That's kind of what that genre is about in a crazy way.
Yeah.
Don't find myself ever needing mana potions.
No. Well, it's because you're not playing a mana cast. Technically, I am, because I'm playing an Ember Mage, but because of the Ember Mage's overcharge, where I just get infinite mana.
Oh, really?
It's like, once it charges, that's when I just start spamming magic, because it doesn't use any magic points.
Yeah. Does away with that problem.
And then, because of the way the charge system works, I actually get charged faster using my regular standard wand attacks during the downtime between the charges. And obviously I have one chaos, so...
Yes.
My regular one strikes do all kinds of shit.
One chaos is great. It's just suddenly every now and then you're just like, what the hell was that? It's like, was that you?
So yeah, we played that.
Oh man, that just reminded me of Magicka, man.
That's definitely one chaos.
Yeah. Man, that game was great. Sudden line of exploding mines, don't mind if I do. What's that? You're standing in the way and can get hurt by them? Oh, wow.
Yeah, explosions. Oh no, I killed myself again.
I'm going to use the random lightning strike, see what happens. Oh, shit, it hit me. And I've been gibbed in one.
Yep. I also looked into Guild Wars a couple of times. It's basically another Season 2 break, so you haven't missed any updates to the log.
Okay.
It looks like Christmas is probably going to happen, I guess, tomorrow, which is they usually update on Tuesdays. So when they're putting the Christmas stuff back in, only now it's going to be focused on Divinity's Reach rather than Lion's Arch, because obviously Lion's Arch is all fucked.
Mm.
So yeah, that'll be that. There is a slight, I don't know whether it's meant to happen in this patch or whether it's coming when they restart Season 2 or whatever, the next actual patch. But they're doing quite a big overhaul to the daily achievements and stuff, where they're basically making it so each individual daily achievement gives you a reward rather than you get 5 and then you get a reward.
Okay, right.
So you can just even easier pick and choose.
So there's still a max number of dailies that you can do. You can do 5 dailies, or
I'm not sure whether they're going to limit it. I think it might just be the rewards are less.
Okay,
but if you do more of them, you're just going to get back up to the same number or whatever. But then they're basically getting rid of monthlies. They're going to change it so that instead of the monthly achievements, they just make it so every day that you log in, basically that has a checks off on a list, and then when you reach 28, you get a big reward. But every individual day you log in also gives you a reward. And it's not tied to the month or anything. It's just 28 consecutive days, not consecutive. 28 days, but not necessarily in a row. You can leave it between for a week or whatever, and it won't reset.
Right.
It's just that once you've logged in 28 times on separate days, you get a better reward.
Interesting.
And you get something every day. So that's nice, I guess. Sounds like the rewards for that might actually be worthwhile. Which is kind of annoying in some ways. Because it's the actual rewards for finishing monthlies wasn't that amazing. I mean, the main thing was the 30 laurels for the Laurel Merchant. And that's pretty good. So, you build up some laurels that way. But it's now they're suggesting the 28th day reward will be exotic weaponry and crafting materials that will let you make legendaries or whatever, or not the whole thing, portion of the actual stuff that you need to make legendaries.
Okay, sounds helpful.
Might actually let me start on that whole fucking process. I've never had enough money to do that. It's the main problem. Even though I've got 200 gold, it's not. It might barely be enough, but that would only really be enough if I had a lot of the other stuff. It's probably the main thing that would stop me getting legendaries would be the material costs.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of things that you have to craft where it's a 250 stack of tier 7 fine materials. It's fucking Jesus. I have 20 of those.
Yeah. How am I going to get the rest of them in the world? Probably never.
No, you don't have to hella grind or just buy them for a lot of money. So yeah, that's Guild Wars. Things might be happening. Christmas.
Cause.
Go and play the bells.
Oh yeah. Remember that bloody go.
It was a good one. Once you worked out how it actually worked.
And the sort of oddity of the timing.
Yeah. And the stupid snowball fighting. The only PvP points I've ever got, because there was a time when that mysteriously counted towards normal PvP.
Oh, did it? I wonder if I've got any then. So I joined it the first time they did that.
Yeah. So yeah. I think they're doing some kind of overhaul to World versus... Oh no, it's not an overhaul. They're doing a special World versus World event over Christmas, I think, where they're changing up the rules, where it's going to make it more important. It's going to focus the scoring system on player kills rather than capturing or something.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. They're trying to vary things up.
So I guess it would just be more like a big old fight rather than the ridiculous...
Constantly manoeuvring behind each other plan. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, perhaps there needs to be something, or at least some weighted thing, perhaps tied to kills as well as the capturing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Or they could do something like just make bases defenses proportional to the number of kills or something.
Yeah, I guess make it maybe the more people you kill at that base, the more easily
the doors get broken or whatever. But then that doesn't actually incentivize other people to come and fight you. You need to have it be a defensive buff rather than a rather than an offensive buff.
Yeah, you may be right. So it becomes harder for them to just walk it after a while.
Yeah. It's like if you manage to defend,
it
should be becoming easier for you to defend over time to reward you for actually bothering to defend.
Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, that's Guild Wars. I also logged into EVE for a minute to see what was up with their fancy new lighting.
Oh yeah,
because they put that in, and it's kind of weird. I don't know. It looks fancy, but it's like there's certain elements of how it works that I don't get. Like they sort of have to make some amount of concessions because if you actually looked at a thing in space, the side that wasn't facing the sun would be completely dark.
Yes.
Because then that wouldn't be very helpful.
Yeah.
But now it seems like the Galent ships now are like it's like they have their weird colour scheme where they're all basically the same colour scheme, the default. Not like the racial colour scheme, I guess, is like silvery grey and then some actual bits of silver and then like some pale sort of greeny areas is their colour scheme. And that looks sort of fine. It looks sort of like brushed metal grey, and then like the green is sort of matte as well, and then like the shiny silvery bits. But then when you're looking at the side of the ship that isn't facing the light source, for some reason the brushed metal grey also turns shiny. And I'm like, that's weird. How does that doesn't make any sense for a light perspective.
Yeah, I see a point.
It just looks kind of odd. And then I also kind of don't like how like the other like the company specific paint jobs that are for the Tech 2 ships kind of suck for Galent. Like several of my ships are from Devol Labs, and their color scheme is more boring grey with a little bit of gold accent. It's like basically it's
the inverse of Deus Ex.
It's like the normal Galent paint job, except they got rid of the silvery bits, changed the green to gold, and just made more of it grey and darker grey.
Okay.
So it's just like that's kind of boring. It just looks like a regular ass spaceship. It's not like all the other races and their fancy shit, although I guess the Caldari just have boring grey in most cases.
Grey and blue, isn't it? And
not really so much blue. I mean, it's like their base colours are... Although some of their company-specific colour schemes are really weird. Like, there's one of the... I don't know what Caldari company it is, but one of their Tech 2 ships has, like... It's sort of semi-reflex, so it, like, changes colour slightly when you rotate it.
Oh, weird.
And it's, like...
Pink and green.
Not that.
Pink and green.
Not quite. But then it's also, like... It's basically a colour gradient that's faded over the ship, so like the front is like almost gold and then it fades towards like grey again.
That's awesome.
And sort of orangey grey, and it's like that. It just looks really weird. And now obviously the Armar have their giant like gold edges on their fancy ships, and
as it should be.
And the Minmatar just a brown as always.
Just a brown.
Always the boring brown. Some of their racial company colours are a bit weird as well.
Just a little bit of brown.
I think this new like lighting engine like made the dumb space camo on the military versions of the ships look slightly less dumb. It's like it doesn't quite stand out as much, I guess. So it doesn't look quite so stupid for stupid Navy space camo.
They should just have like the snow digital print or something just all over one.
I think one of the Caldari types of ship skin has a sort of semi-digital camo thing going on. You'd think that would make more sense anyway. Only not really, because no camo makes sense in space.
Unless you're totally black, I suppose.
Yeah, but even then, not really, because you're radiating heat. That's the whole problem. And I couldn't work out which ship it was that had the stupid, like, activated warp cover things I couldn't work out which Caldari ship that was. I saw one which had a model that looked new that I didn't really recognise, but I couldn't see which bit on that model would be the bit that would activate because I'd only seen it in like a concept art thing. Unless they didn't actually put that in, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. That would have to be one of the ship redesigns.
Yeah. It did look redesigned because it looks sort of distinctly different from all the other Caldari ships.
Okay.
I was like, that looks a bit more pointy in lasers. And they also did technically introduce a new ship, only there was a competition at some point that decided that one of the racers would be the first to get this new tech-free ship. So it's only Armagh. The Armagh got first introduction of the tech-free destroyers, which basically have like a mode switch, so you can switch between speed mode and sniping mode.
Oh, interesting.
But that's just like destroyers is only like a frigate-sized ship, really.
Oh, okay.
Slightly bigger than frigate, slightly smaller than cruiser, so it's not exactly important
Like
in the grand scheme of fleet battles or whatever.
They're like bombing run ships.
Well, no, that would be the bombers.
Oh.
That's what they're for.
They have those too.
Yeah. So yeah, it's another thing that I was like, that's probably not going to get that much use, probably. And they also introduced another thing that you get from wormhole space. They made a new class of weapons, which also is probably a thing that's not going to get used much, I guess, where they're called polarized weapons, where basically they're like super extra powerful compared to normal weapons, but they make all your resistances 0.
Oh, weird.
So I guess that makes like for suicide runs or whatever, or like warp traps where you jump in directly into someone and then just annihilate them as fast as possible. But yeah, I'm not seeing that getting particularly much use. Although on the other hand, I guess if you don't have to worry about tanking your ship, that lets you use all those slots you normally use for tanking for other stuff.
More guns.
Well, no, the guns go in a different set of slots.
More gun skills. It's guns.
You probably. I guess
guns for the crew.
Maybe you just go for a lot of passive tank, like armor plates, because there are some setups that use a lot of armor plates for passive tank. Just have a lot of hit points rather than having good resistances.
I see. Yeah.
So that might work with those polarized weapons to just have a huge bank of armor. So yeah, that's Eve, and then. I had a weird, like, annoying evening. I think it was on Friday.
An annoying evening.
It was an annoying evening where I couldn't tell whether I was ill or whether I was going to be ill or whether I was just feeling kind of lethargic, lazy, bleh. I was just feeling kind of bleh.
Yeah, know that feeling.
So this time I was like, I can't tell whether I'm getting ill or not. So I'm just going to try and, I'm just going to do an experiment. I'm just going to try and, push through this using the most hardcore way I could possibly do. So I played Super Hexagon and then played Dyad.
Oh god.
And then afterwards I felt quite a lot better. So I was like, I guess that was just lethargy.
Oh man. Yeah, that would royally fuck you up if you weren't on it.
Yeah. I didn't really play that much Dyad. I mean, Super Hexagon I can play whenever. That's just but Dyad has a bit more to it, so I had to go back to the start and try and remember how the game works. Again.
Yeah,
because it changes on every level.
Dyad.
Yeah. So there was that, and then I also mainly played. Well, I don't know about. It's another 2 weeks where I don't seem to have remembered what I was mainly playing. Because I did play some more Valkyria Chronicles. I did a few more missions.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Got a fair bit more way through that. I'm probably coming towards the end. Maybe. There might be 2 or 3 missions left. And some of... I don't know. There was a dumb mission where... It must be quite towards the end, I guess. But there's the mission where... There's the giant enemy tank, and you have to lead it down a canyon by knocking over the walls, basically, to block off various routes and lead it through the canyon.
Yes.
But that mission is, basically a non-combat mission, because there's not really any enemies for you to shoot. You're just worried about getting through and knocking over the bits of wall that you have to knock over.
Yeah.
And so I did that, but... The trouble with it is that I got through it super easily. It was it wasn't even a problem because there's no fucking fighting really.
Nope.
There was 5 dudes and you just kill them. And so I got through it, but then at the end, I was miles ahead of the thing, so I like parked myself behind piles of rubble so I couldn't be seen in case it decided to shoot me for some reason. But then, of course, that just ruins your rank because you're just waiting there for like turns and turns. Because it's like I didn't. When I thought about it afterwards, I was like, well, I guess if you wanted to get the better rank on that mission, you'd have to deliberately not knock over the bits of walls that were only there to delay it, rather than the ones which are there to divert it.
Yeah, you're probably right, yeah.
So I got a D rank on that, even though it was like the easiest mission ever, and I was done miles before it actually got there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I had the same problem.
That was kind of annoying. And weird. That was a kind of a weird mission. I should have brought more than one engineer, because as soon as you get to the minefield,
Yeah.
it's like, here's a base which is absolutely fucking covered in mines.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that quite well. So what do we do? Wait for this one guy to clear a path.
Not that disarming mines takes time, which is the important thing.
No, but you just need to have a guy in front of the tank.
It's like really all you need to do is send him in first, and have him self-disarm away through the anti-personnel mine and pick off the important anti-tank mines, and then the tanks can just drive over all the other mines.
Yeah. Take out the personnel mines.
Yeah. But that was weird and kind of dumb. And I did like the hilarious, like, they had to somehow in their fake 1930s be able to have nukes. So they had the Valkyria nukes, which is hilariously dumb.
Oh yeah, the characters just nuke.
Yeah, they just blow up.
Yeah.
They're like with a hilarious blue wiggly mushroom cloud.
So they don't blow up themselves, do they?
Well, they sort of do, but like sort of weirdly happens in stages. It's like you have to sacrifice yourself, and then like the Valkyria energy just sort of explodes. Except it explodes, and then it explodes more, and then it really explodes.
Yeah. Stage 3 explosion. It's like, oh god, the explosion is exploding some more.
Yep. That was hilarious. I thought that whole fortress was going to be a lot more of a problem than it actually was. Turned out those missions weren't actually very difficult for assaulting a goddamn fortress.
Yeah, I can't remember a lot about that place.
Well, the first one, you have to hit the switches on the train line to let the train go in and destroy the gates.
Mm. Oh, yes, no, I remember that.
That wasn't actually difficult.
No.
Mainly because there's like... The thing that I thought was going to be a problem with the enemy tanks, but then there's those two convenient towers that you can climb up and with a lancer and get a shot on the radiator.
Yeah.
It was like, well, that makes that whole thing a lot easier.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And then you just run up on the walls with some scouts, take the rear bases so they can't spawn in any more reinforcements, and then you're basically done. Yeah, and then the actual fortress assault against the stupid Valkyria one wasn't that difficult either. After you worked out how to avoid immediately getting shot there.
Yes. Which is a problem, because it's a bit powerful.
Yes. Once I realised that you just fire the smoke grenade at her.
Yeah, so she can't see out.
Yes. You don't worry about... But it's like that works as long as you don't leave anyone exposed during their turn. Because she runs between two positions, and you can't really cover the whole thing.
Yeah.
So you just have to fire it at where she is during your turn, move everyone while she can't see you, and then make sure they're out of view when it's her turn.
Yeah. Yeah. Hope for the best on the second one that she doesn't somehow get a shot on.
Yeah. Although I did have one moment right at the end where it's happened a couple of times where, like, it's a sort of classic problem of that kind of aiming where either I'd shoot someone or the enemy would shoot me, but it would be one of those cases where you can get shots on from where you are, but then when they counterfire, it just hits a barrier.
Oh, weird.
Like I shot through an incredibly small gap where I can see someone's head, hit them several times, they turn around, did return fire, but the return fire from their angle hits a bit of wall because they're aiming at like centre of mass or whatever.
Yeah.
And I also did have another time where an enemy ran up to the edge of a trench I was in and tried to use the flamethrower on me. But where he was standing from, the flamethrower didn't actually go into the trench, so he just wasted 2 turns trying to shoot me, and none of it actually hit.
That's good. So I had the right idea, but just didn't know quite how to pull it off.
Yeah. It's genius moves. So yeah, there was that. Some more of that. Still haven't finished it.
I'm going to have to wrap this up, I'm afraid. I'm losing it.
Boo!
Yeah.
Boo!
Sorry.
I can't remember what else I played, though,
Well,
so it probably doesn't matter.
It's probably convenient.
I downloaded and installed SimCity 2000 on Origin.
No, yeah,
Didn't actually play it.
The free game.
I had to look at the files, though, and it does appear to just be the actual normal game.
What, no real modifications?
No, there doesn't seem to be any wrappers or anything around it. It just looks like the actual files. There's a DOS4WG in there or whatever.
Wow.
So I'm not actually sure how that'll work. Last time I checked, I think it ran okay on 7 with my actual disc.
SimCity 2000.
Yep.
Llama weddings.
Llamas. All the llamas.
No, it's bungee weddings, isn't it? And
Yeah,
llamas,
bungee weddings.
Llamas spotted.
A variety of llama statistics.
The best. Well, thank you for joining us on this lonelier Tiredcast. Cat's been sat there staring at us for a while, so
Yep. Cat's been involved.
it hasn't been a total loss. Oh, I do apologise for this getting late, and I'm tired.
It's not that late.
It's not that late, no, but I had to be up early because, even on my days off, I still need to do things with taking people places.
You need to stop being drunk. It's an important thing to do.
I'm not hungover, I'm not drunk. A little hungover.
It's what I said, stop being drunk. That's what a hangover is. The stopping part.
I should stop being drunk. Just be drunk the whole time.
No.
That solves the problem. No hangover if you're endlessly drunk.
Yep, that does solve the problem.
Good advice. Try that at home, kids. Thank you for joining us on the Saladcast. Don't forget to check out. I'm doing the video thing. Yeah,
doing the video thing on the end of the podcast. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
which is the Saladcast.
Yes,
or Happy Salad. Search for one of those things.
The channel's called Happy Salad.
You'll find it,
and I think the URL has Saladcast in it.
Search for Zach and Rob, and you'll probably find one of our videos because it's probably in the description of every one of them.
Some of them, most of them.
Yeah, most of them.
There was a plan at some point to get Dan to do some.
He was in one or two.
Yeah, in the early days.
But he's not here, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe next time he's here for Christmas or whatever, maybe we will get round to doing a video.
Oh, maybe he should just do some video content of his own.
But then that'd be solo video content.
That's fine.
No, it isn't. That never goes well. Unless it's like... It can't just be a solo video content like we do a video but by yourself. You have to actually make an effort rather than just sit down in front of a computer and play a game like we do.
Selling it. Let's go check those out.
Yeah.
Go see us just sit down in front of a computer and play a game for a bit.
For a long bit.
They're more long plays. Or what people call long plays, I suppose.
No, but that's different. Long plays in plays like playing the whole game or playing... We don't really long play, we just play for a long time. Apart from Final Fantasy VII, which is turning into a long play.
Yes. Well, that always was going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
That always was. So do that. And thank you for joining us. You got any signing off things you need to do? Got anything you need to get out there?
Well, I'll start talking so you can get up and turn the recording off.
Good, cheers.
It's kind of an important thing to do.
That's what I was getting at.
But I don't really have any content to say. Luckily, Rob has reached his computer. Bye!